Angie's forecast in just a minute, but let's begin with NBC's Adrian Broadus at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport.
Lassman, now, Angie, there are some severe weather threats today that could affect not just travelers, but also people living in different parts of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already got a thunderstorm watch that has gone into effect a little while ago. And this threat is only going to expand across this region as we get through the day today. But here's what we've got now. Parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, going to see that thunderstorm watch last until at least noon Central Time. Big picture look, though, we've also got some rain stretch from parts of the East Coast stretching down to the Gulf Coast. That's part of all the same system. Here's the system that we're going to watch. Notice that big swath of moisture shifts a little farther to the east here as we get through the day today. We've got plenty of rain associated with this, but we've also got the potential for multiple threats as far as the severe weather is concerned. Along the eastern seaboard, you're going to see some rain as well. That's not going to be great for any additional delays that we see at airports and, of course, on the roadways. And then tomorrow, if you're traveling, we've got a lot of that working a little farther to the east and bringing us some potential snow showers across parts of the Great Lakes. We'll see that long line of thunderstorms march east through basically the next 2 days. But today, the bullseye for where the worst of that weather is, specifically some strong tornadoes, it's centered across the Gulf Coast and parts of the south. We've got Jackson, Alexandria, Hattiesburg, all in that moderate risk, but it really extends from Nashville down to the Gulf Coast and out to portions of East Texas, as well as into places like Atlanta and Knoxville. This is the area, though, that we're going to see the greatest chance to see some of those larger tornadoes, the EF2s or greater. This is going to start to ramp up here as we get into the afternoon hours and then really stay with us into the evening hours as well. We know how much more dangerous those nocturnal tornadoes are as the sun goes down. So something that folks in that area are going to have to watch for through essentially the entire day today. By tomorrow, that threat, not quite as impressive, but it does focus its way from Roanoke down to Vidalia, Atlanta, including that, Charlotte, Columbia. All of these locations are going to be airports that are going to have to watch for delays. But of course, folks should be keeping an eye on exactly how that weather plays out today, guys, with severe threat across this region.
Important to watch. Angie, thank you so much.
Let's start.
You guys, I'm not coming back to work. I'm so sorry to tell everybody. I will, to Vicky's point, find something fun or meaningful to do.
Yes.
Maybe, you know, a long vacation, donate to some charities, et cetera, et cetera. But you won't see me here doing this. But for now, I didn't win. So let's get into exactly what you need to know today when it comes to the weather and the airports and the roads. Those are the couple of spots that we're going to watch across parts of the southeast and stretching up to the east coast. We've got New York, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta. You're likely going to see some delays there. Give yourself a bit of extra time, but especially if you live along the Gulf Coast, places like New Orleans, likely seeing delays there. We talked about the severe weather that we have centered across parts of that area, Texas stretching to basically Mississippi. So we'll see some trouble spots there. Out west, Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, you likely will see some difficulty there with some mountain snow and some rain working across that region. That's going to leave us with wet conditions and slick roads across that area, but also stretching again from Dallas up into New York. We'll wake up to some rain across this region, and that'll essentially continue, especially the farther south you are through the day today. Looking ahead to tomorrow, Chicago, one of the spots that you'll want to watch for with some possible delays, but we have likely delays as that line of thunderstorms shifts to the east. So New York, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, all going to be some of those areas that you'll want to give yourself a little more extra time. And you guessed it, out west too, same kind of locations. We're going to see Seattle with the biggest chance to see more delays, as well as San Francisco and Denver. And on the roads, similar story. The middle of the country looks great. You're not going to have any weather delays in the air or on the roads for folks there. But again, most of the east and parts of the west will see some difficulty when it comes to hitting the roads and in the air. Let's look at the weather across the country. Let's see what's happening in your neighborhood. And that's a look at your forecast, guys.
We still don't believe that you're coming in.
I said she's not coming back to work.
At least for a little bit, right?
Okay, a day or two.
Fine.
All right. Still to come, why wait until Sunday? The NFL is taking over the sports world with 3 games later today. With Angie.
As someone who works a lot of mornings, I wouldn't be mad about some midday football. Why not? Perfect timing for me. Guys, let's stick with the football kind of theme here and talk about that forecast for the Falcons versus Commanders. Not the best, but not the worst. We've got rainy and breezy conditions. Temperatures will stay into the upper 50s, so the ponchos will likely be out for fans that are headed to the game there. Big picture look, boy, it doesn't look like winter, does it? I mean, we've got temperatures running nearly 20 degrees above normal in a lot of spots. Denver headed to 55 today. We've got Nashville, 67 degrees, 70s in Jackson. We've got 80s across parts of Texas. Even Pittsburgh, you are running more than than 20 degrees above normal with a high of 60 degrees today. So no snow in sight for folks across that area, and that continues even into tomorrow. Upper 50s for New York. Norfolk heads to the upper 60s. We've got 70s in New Orleans. Chicago even into those low 40s. So a couple of layers needed, but not all that many, especially considering the time of year. We've got temperatures kind of moderating out here as we get into next week. So we do go from the mid 40s on Monday in Fort Wayne to the mid 30s by the middle of the week. Atlanta, you end up into the mid 50s by the time Wednesday rolls around, and even Little Rock, mid 60s to upper 40s. So it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. New York City, 57 degrees as we kick off our next work week, and then we head to the low 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's look at the weather across the country. Let's see what's happening in your neighborhood.
The way.
Let's look at your forecast, guys.
All right, Angie, thank you so much. Just ahead, ready, set, return. What you need to know to make bringing back those unwanted holiday gifts as painless as possible. But first, these messages. We're back with Pop Start, and this is very exciting. Angie, I am passing the baton to you this morning. What is popping today?
I'm going to try to do my best to make you proud, Joe. Here we go. First up, the holiday weekend box office. The period from Christmas to New Year's is traditionally a busy time at the movie theater, and this year is no different. Mufasa, looks
so terrifying. Bravo for pronouncing that word. But it's like a classic, right? Kind of a remake on a classic.
It's a remake on a classic, and I don't know who wants to watch that during Christmas week. Who wants to go see like a terrifying vampire movie?
I couldn't even get through the trailer. Up next, we're looking ahead to the Batman. Way ahead. That's because the highly Shabuzi, fresh off his appearance at Beyonce's Christmas Day NFL halftime show, the singer is making country music history with his own smash hit. And finally, Matthew McConaughey, the Oscar winner, just announced he's launching a free newsletter. Lyrics of Livin' newsletter launches next Friday, January 3rd. Mark your calendars. I'm personally very excited about this. I loved his book.
Yeah, his memoir, Greenlights, was so good. Joe, what do you have to say to this?
As long as he's reading the newsletter to me, that's all I need. That's all I care about.
All right. We love it. We love it.
Great job.
How'd I do?
Bravo.
You
10
win
out of
Pop
10.
Start Award.
I didn't disappoint you.
Still to come. We're going to look back at some of the most memorable
weather affecting a lot of the country. Hey, Angie.
Hey, guys. It's already an active morning, and we're only going to see this kind of ramp up as the day goes on. We've got a thunderstorm watch in effect, and that's going to last through at least noon Central Time. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these thunderstorm warnings get going here over the next couple of hours, and again into this afternoon and even evening hours. Across the east, you're waking up to a bit of rain. Washington, D.C. stretching down to the Carolinas and down to the Gulf Coast. This is all part of the same kind of system that's going to kind of chug along to the east over the next 2 days. It'll bring impactful weather for the air and the roads if you're going to be traveling. We even see some snow showers kind of take shape across parts of the Great Lakes as we get into tomorrow, and more rain for the East Coast. The biggest impact today, though, I think is that threat for severe weather, and it's fairly large, and it's kind of rare for December for us to see this kind of tornado threat, stretching from Houston to Nashville down to Panama City, Atlanta included in this, but the real bullseye, Jackson, Alexandria, Hattiesburg, and stretching up to Greenville, Lake Charles. This is where we have the potential to see those strong tornadoes, EF2s or higher, and this is going to start to ramp up as we get into the afternoon hours and then stay with us through even after dark. Those nocturnal tornadoes will be possible across that region. Tomorrow, not quite as impactful as far as the risk area, but we've still got Roanoke stretching down to parts of Georgia, including Atlanta and major airports like Charlotte, for the potential for some of that severe weather. We'll see wind gusts, a couple of tornadoes possible tomorrow, and even some hail. Big picture, look for the rain across this region, 1 inch to 2 inches, so we'll see some localized flooding over the next day or so. Guys,
Angie,
back over to you.
Thank you. We will get your full forecast in just a few minutes. One more quick check of the forecast. Hey, Ange.
Hi, guys. 2025 is almost here, so let's get you that forecast for any plans that you have to ring in the new year. Rainy and mild on Tuesday during the daytime hours. It'll be much chillier across the middle of the country, but plenty of sunshine out west. At midnight, wet. Unfortunately, for the ball drop, we might be dealing with some showers across that area, but the rest of the country honestly looks pretty dry. We will need, of course, hats and gloves with temperatures into the teens in some spots across the plains. And as we look ahead to the first day of 2025, another storm ramps up out west for parts of the Pacific Northwest. We'll see plenty of sunshine across parts of the southeast, but we remain unsettled as we kick off the new year across parts of New England. The farther north you go, temperatures for places like Chicago into the 30s, and we'll see some nice conditions for folks across the Southwest. As a look at the weather across the country, let's see what's happening in your neighborhood. Let's look at your forecast, guys.
All right, Angie, thank you so much. Coming up next, stories to put a smile on your...
All right, the moment you've been waiting for. We're back with our Saturday morning boost, but this morning we're going to do things a little differently.
Yeah, normally Joe shares one really sweet story that caught our attention for the week.
But today we're going bigger with the boost, recapping our top 5 favorites of the past year. So just show that to your kids and be like, this is how this is supposed to go.
I like his list of requirements.
I know. That guy needs to be a professional negotiator.
No
He was
kidding.
so good. He's like, you want this? Well, here's what you got to do.
Love it.
Impressive. Good top 5. Thank you, and we will be right back.
A perfect day with the family. Shingles doesn't care, but Shingrix protects. Only Shingrix is proven over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used.
It was so great to be with you, and
Good to
that's
have
going
you.
to do it for us for this Saturday morning.
As we leave you this morning, we want to give you a look at the names of the incredible people behind the scenes who help make this show shine every Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a very happy, healthy, and safe New Year.
And bravo to all of our back.
Thank you. Let's bring in meteorologist Angie Lassman. Angie, how much more severe weather are we looking at this weekend?
Unfortunately, Gotti, we've got more to get through tonight and potentially tomorrow. Here's where we're watching through the rest of the evening hours, specifically along the Gulf Coast. We've already had an active early part of our day, and as we head into the evening hours, those dangerous nocturnal tornadoes will be likely, specifically Lake Charles, Lufkin, and stretching out towards Mobile, the area where we see those large EF2 tornadoes. As we head into tomorrow, that destructive line of storms marches to the east. We shift that severe threat across parts of the southeast. So Raleigh, Charlotte, major hubs like Atlanta stretching down to the Gulf Coast could potentially see strong wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and a couple of tornadoes. Gotti?
Angie, thank you. In South Florida, a terrifying